we have Patrick Davey joining us once again from WorkSafe BC on this Thursday afternoon. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, talking about bullying in the workplace, and we're going to learn a little bit more about how prevalent it is. Is it prevalent?
Yes, it is.
Everywhere? All sectors?
More so in some than others. Some of them are, I think some of the ones you'd think they'd be more prevalent in, like construction, logging, mills, no. Where we find the most ones are in retail, hospitality, hotels, restaurants, but one of the big ones in healthcare.
Okay. Interesting, first of all. Second of all, define bullying for us. Is it always really overt, or is it kind of covert, passive-aggressive? Like, what are we talking about?
Well, it's for officers to go out and see somebody not wearing fall protection on the roof, easy. Bullying is a little bit more complicated, and then we have a bit of a definition. Bullying harassment includes any inappropriate conduct, comment towards another person that they knew or ought to have known would cause them to be intimidated and humiliated. So it's a little bit more convoluted.
Could bullying almost be defined in body language as well?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It would be a tough one to sort of pin on somebody, that's for sure. So you were saying in the healthcare sector, there's a lot of bullying.
Yeah.
Interesting. Construction work sites. I know we're going to watch a video on how it unfolds on a construction work site. Why are we choosing that video today to watch?
Well, I think that's what most people think where bullying and harassment would happen. And this one illustrates, too, what bullying and harassment could be. It's not throwing punches necessarily. It's not physical abuse. A lot of times it's verbal. It's just slights. It's a lot of things where people feel intimidated. We look at things a little differently than we did 5 years ago.
Okay, let's take a look at that video. Fine line also between sexual harassment and bullying.
And when we start looking at that, it gets to be more of a criminal aspect to it than a bullying harassment issue.
So how does WorkSafe BC get involved in all of this?
Well, we have specialized, especially trained prevention officers. We have one in every office, B&H, bullying harassment officer, and they're trained to really deal with the finer aspects of it. They spend a lot of time talking to employers, making them understand what their duties are, and defining if it is, in fact, a bullying harassment claim.
So since 2013, when these policies came into place, how many people have made contact with you guys? So
that was November 2013, so not even 2 years. We've had over 6,200 inquiries. Most of those, 70% of them, are just inquiries. So that's more than 60. We get probably about 65 calls every week.
Okay.
But most of them are just inquiries, not actual complaints.
How many are female and how many are male, do you know?
So again, when we look at where they are, we talked about earlier, a lot of them are in healthcare, retail, hospitality. It's not a surprise when we find out that 65% of the claimants are women, and that only 10% of the claimants are what we call new and young workers, they age from 15 to 25.
And interesting, because I think a lot of the bullying that goes on in the workplace goes on with the younger generation, but they don't maybe call it in. They don't do anything about it. They don't know that it should not be tolerated.
And that's why in the last couple of years we've done a lot of education, because these new and young workers aren't always aware of all the responsibilities of the employers or themselves when they start work.
Fascinating. If people want more information about this, where can they go?
As usual, on the board's website, we have a ton of information. This would be at worksafebc.com/bullying. This is where they can find templates, a lot of educational material to help them out putting a program themselves together.
We'd like to think we're getting better about things like bullying in the workplace, but it isn't. I know that there's a lot of it that still goes on. Some people choose to not do anything about it, but people that do shouldn't be ashamed. They shouldn't be ashamed to reach out and get help if they think they need it.
Don't be a victim. Be aware of what your rights are and ask questions. And the important thing for employers and workers is, first of all, not engage in horseplay. And if you see it or if you're experienced to it, report it, investigate it. Let's remedy it.
Okay. All right, Patrick Davies, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. We're going to be taking a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the Business Kickstart Speakers Series up at TRU. It kicks off next week. Stay with us.